This piece of junk might not go down without a fight. Yeah, it's on there. I'm gonna shove it on just a little bit more though. Okay. I really should have loaded this further back, and yes, I know that this is going to be way too much tongue weight, but because of the way things are in this yard and the awkwardness of this, I just kind of had to put it wherever I could. So, as my dad would say, it's not ideal. That's just the way the mop flops. Anyway, I heard that so many times when I was younger.
There's Chucky running up to see if he can squeeze the deal. He says, I want a couple of more pennies for my pounds.
He wants me to back in over yonderwards. This place is full of cool stuff. I've never seen so much crap in this yard. Usually there's like a couple piles like this. Today the entire yard is like, you know, 30, 40 feet tall everywhere. I think, I was telling Steve about this, I think they're hoarding this stuff because they think the prices are gonna go up or something. All right, gotta back up. I bought the truck, this thing, for everything it does have. It does not have a backup camera because those became mandatory in whatever it was, 2018, and this is a 17. Either that or this is a 2018 truck and they became mandatory in 2019.
See Chucky's backing skills.
Yeah, I should really know what year my truck is, but I bought it in December and it's the same truck, so I don't really care.
Backup cameras are the one thing that I really enjoy.
I don't know why I'm even talking about it. That wouldn't really help me much now here, would it? There's
no.
a trailer behind me.
But, you know, hooking up to your trailer is what I use it for.
It kind of hurt to buy. It was like $200-300 for all this stuff with all the binders. But every single time I use them, I'm so thankful I'm not running around destroying straps and putting them on junk like this anymore. It was a seriously good investment. Let's see how he deals with this. I was thinking they were going to get it off with a claw or something.
I don't think the sheet metal on the bottom is going to be.
It's like a mag drill. It doesn't work on stuff thinner than whatever it is for that model, 3/16 or quarter inch.
Yeah.
Man, I put a lot of crap in that, and I still have space.
Expectation of privacy. So get up there and clean it, Chucky. How much weight do you think it was?
My money's on 4,000 pounds. I don't think it's going to be much less than that, maybe a little bit. I would be happily surprised if it was over that. That's always welcome, but my money's on 4,000 pounds. I bet I get $192. What do you think?
I bet $176.
Oh, I actually don't know what steel's selling for. New steel went up a lot, but of course, the scrap places still don't really pay any more than they used to. A buddy of mine bought a bunch of quarter-inch plate, like new and full sheets, for 30 cents a pound. Then he sold it back to a steel distributor for like 35 cents a pound in drops. That's how crazy the steel market's going. But that's if you're buying it. If you're selling it, I'm sure you still get the short end of the stick. But that's basically literal garbage for me, so, you know, whatever.
Chucky, don't tell me what to not get into the video frame. I'm a professional videographer. See? Long ways.
All right, dude, so good news and bad news. Bad news is I was wrong about the weight. The good news is I got more money though. I thought we had about 4,000 pounds. Turns out it's only 2,800 and change. However, that's not too surprising considering I based my weight estimation on the tractor not being able to pick up that pickup bed yesterday. So, you know, the problem is that's sort of a little bit of a false reading because all that weight is cantilevered out ahead of the tractor, which is why I really can't pick it up close to the tractor. So I was kind of going on that. It wasn't the most precise thing in the world, but still $257.40 for junk, basically. Junk. I mean, literally a skid that I no longer use, pickup bed, salvage parts truck, and
thanks, Chucky. This is
what friends are for, yeah.
That's what videography fee.
let's see. I've had this truck for about 6 months or so now, and I want to give you guys my thoughts on this because for those who aren't regular viewers who have suffered through this random vlog anyway, probably wanting something relevant to the truck we're in, the truck I traded in on this was a half-ton truck, Ford F-150, 2013 model year, EcoBoost engine. It had the heavy towing package or whatever they called it, and it was basically one of, I don't think it was but it was one of the best configurations for towing with an F-150. And the most I ever personally towed with it was a little over 10,000 pounds when I was moving, which was well balanced, but it did it. So I upgraded to this thing because I wanted a diesel for longer life expectancy. I'm planning to have some kids in a few years, so I wanted the, or sooner, so I wanted the full cab, not the cab and a half thing, and I decided I might as well upgrade while my old truck still had some level of resale value left. So here's, from my own personal first-hand experience, actually towing stuff. This wasn't as much as I thought today. The most I normally tow is like 7,000 to 8,000 pounds. That's my dump trailer with a tractor on it, a medium-sized tractor, like 40-ish horsepower or so. And I've done that a handful of times. I've pulled a random menagerie of crap behind this thing, but actually having first-hand experience pulling with both trucks about as much as anyone logically would dare put behind a half-ton truck, and in this, I will say this: you definitely can pull a lot of stuff behind an EcoBoost. The power is astronomical for a gas engine, and they're wonderful, wonderful trucks. What you get when you get a heavier truck like this, for that level of weight, the power is still about the same unless you drive with a lead foot. Then of course this one's going to move faster, but I don't, especially when I'm towing. What you get with a heavier truck like this is it means that you get a superior steering system, you get better brakes and a better suspension. Pulling this thing here, actually the last time I think I used this specific trailer, because you guys have seen my yard, the last time I used this specific trailer, I pulled, I don't know, 3,000 pounds of junk behind my F-150, so pretty much a comparable load, but balanced better. And that truck, like the whole way here, every one of those potholes we hit on the back roads coming into this place, the brakes really struggle. It's true that the trailer does most of the braking, but this thing still stops better. The steering, you know, it did it, it was fine, but it was not the most secure feeling thing in the world. Whereas today, we take about the same amount of weight for all intents and purposes. We load it with like 80% tongue weight, so the thing would be multiplied. And it wasn't. It pulled smoother than the same, almost the same exact amount of weight, but somewhat properly balanced. The truck, as cliche as it sounds, it barely even knew it was back there. And it was just plain and simple a wonderful experience. So actually having owned both of these trucks, here's my 2 cents on this. If you're going to regularly pull anything over about 5,000 pounds, don't buy an F-150. If you have a 7,000 or 8,000 pound boat or camper or something and you only use it once a summer or 2-3 times a year, it'll probably be fine. They have the power to do it, but the frame on the truck, the suspension, the brakes, and the steering all are much better in a larger truck like this. I regularly pull like 7,000 to 8,000 pounds with the capacity. With some stuff I'm getting into, I'll be pulling like probably 15,000 or more. So that's another reason why I wanted to go with this, because obviously things like that are just completely not something you can do with an F-150 sized truck. But for stuff like 7,000 to 8,000 pounds combined, like about what we had today, this truck, you know, that's really pushing what's comfortable for an F-150 to do. Again, not speculation, from my own personal first-hand experience. This truck does it just as easy as can be. It's not working. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's working. I'm not worried about roasting the transmission in the thing, you know, or just annihilating my suspension or anything else. So again, if you're going to be regularly pulling anything over about 5,000 pounds, I would not want that F-150 back for that. If you're going to be regularly pulling 7,000 to 8,000 pounds, this truck is great. Anything more than that, get the diesel. That's my first-hand experience. I can't really comment too much on the gas versus diesel thing. My shop truck was the old 5.4 liter Ford. Most reliable engine I think I've ever owned. Always started. I don't think it ever let me down, but one gutless pig and got like 12 miles a gallon. And I'm told the 6.2 gas engine is a lot better, but I won't comment on that. So that's my random thoughts. Actually having pulled a somewhat decent amount of weight behind this thing, you know, not really much for the truck, but a lot for an F-150 going from these basically 2 trucks people consider, that's what I would add. Steve, I don't know if you have any random thoughts.
I can't get in frame here. No, not really. There's a whole gas versus diesel deal. Like everybody gets into, like, most of the time the guys that buy the diesel trucks, they don't pull anything. They very rarely tow anything, and they think because their 16-foot bass boat has a ball on the front, they need the truck. Most of the time, no, guys don't need diesel trucks. Now, if you are pulling heavy all the time and you can afford it, then diesel's the way to go. If you can afford it. Now, on diesels, the oil change is going to cost you around $100, $150. The maintenance is going to be a lot higher. All the sensors on them normally cost more. It's harder to find mechanics to work on them and stuff. And like perfect example, my gas service truck is 12,000 pounds. Was perfect for me at the time. The problem with it now is it only gets like 7-8 miles per gallon. If it was diesel, I would only be averaging 12, 13.
That's another thing. That's
almost twice the amount. So
here, I'm going to show you guys this. This is an average of 17.4 miles a gallon. Since, I don't know, I drove like 30-ish miles semi around town, like 40, 45 miles an hour on average probably. And then dragging stuff out here today and sitting in the yard, getting all this stuff hitched up and everything. Dude, that is definitely something else to contend with. The mileage on this truck, the 6.7, is great. On the highway, it will regularly break 20 miles a gallon. Now again, that's sort of right-hand action, driving like, grandpa or something, which is my natural state of driving. But it is awesome. For a vehicle that weighs whatever this does, empty, full crew cab, 4x4, 8-foot bed, I cannot complainify. The F-150 got about that or a little more, so of course it was cheaper to run because gas now, because reasons, costs less than diesel fuel.
My F-150 gets less.
Does
average
it really?
15.
Dude, I don't know what my lifetime average was on that truck, but it was not hard at all to get it over 20 miles a gallon on the highway. Now the 5.4 in that old Ford, that's not really that relevant to this, but yeah, like 12 miles a gallon. This thing has literally 3 or 4 times the power of that old work truck and gets 50% better mileage. So, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, you brought up a really good point.
No, that was good. You can say generally on a diesel engine you'll save fuel mileage, but generally the savings you get from it you're not going to save any money if that's your only thing for it. Like people's like, well, I want a diesel because when I'm towing my mobile home or whatever, or a motorhome or travel trailer or something, I get better fuel mileage. Well, it's not drastically better to the point where you're going to save money over time because the maintenance is higher and the initial cost of a diesel is higher. So you're not saving anything. But if you're pulling loads constantly down the road, you get better fuel mileage. The RPMs are generally lower on a diesel than they would on a gas. The comfort level is a lot higher, and the longevity of the engine is going to last long. Like this truck can probably pull 10, 15,000 pounds behind it for the next probably 300,000 miles and be okay. If you did that with a gasser, you're probably going to wear the engine out right around 200,000.
This is something else I've learned. Everybody says you can pull a lot behind a gas engine. You can. Like I told you guys, I've personally pulled over 10,000 pounds like 3.5 hours moving 3 summers ago. But it is hard on the truck, and I feel like although they can do it, the diesel will do it infinitely easier and last longer from it. My shop truck, my old F-250 with the 5.4, 86,000 miles on it or something. It would pull some stuff, and it had pulled a lot of stuff, but still, well under 200,000 miles. That thing was drinking a quart of oil every 1,000 miles, and you fired it up, and the top end of the engine just, and then it smoothed out. So that was one reason why I sold it. This
special effects by Chucky.
Multi-dollar video production skills here. Yeah, so yeah, I don't miss that at all. Here's the other thing. I plan to keep this vehicle for decades and hundreds of thousands of miles, so it's not that big a deal to shell out for the diesel. If you're worried about the cost thing, because it was expensive, it's what, like a $9,000 upgrade or something. Anybody who's done anything to price these trucks out, would know. If you are really hung up on that, ask yourself, one thing to consider is ask yourself how long you're going to keep the truck. Because if you're the type who's going to trade it in every 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years or whatever, and you're really worried about what it's going to cost, pull too much that often, perhaps the best bet would be to get the gas V8, just brutalize the thing for 2 or 3 years, trade it in at however many miles, and you probably won't have any problems with it. If you do, it's still under warranty. But if you're actually planning to keep the truck for an extended period of time, and work it, well, I got no regrets about the diesel. Buy once, cry once, but I'm thankful for that every single time I use the truck.
This video brought to you by Chucky.
Yeah!
Like, subscribe, and
Subscribe for more.
comments.
Yeah, I don't have any more random ramblings, do you?
No.
right.
See you later, fellas.
Thanks for watching. Cheers!